C's get degrees, D's get you death, and F's get you F off of our university.
Oh, I feel like F's are better than D's in this scenario.
You gotta defend your thesis, man. If you got a D, you gotta have a sword so you can defend your thesis. And if you die, you die. You get the D.
You know what? That's fair. With an F, it's just like, you know what? He never stood a chance. Just leave.
Just leave. We don't even want to kill you at this point. Okay. And what's up, everyone? Welcome to Flip the Scripts. I'm your host, Stephen Nieman.
And I'm the other host, Ankit and Madhira. Welcome back, everybody.
And we're still on Avatar, The Last Airbender Netflix version. We are now on episode 4, which means we've made it to the halfway point of the show.
I can't wait until we're at the end point of the show.
Ankit is really not enjoying the show. I'm trying to find things I enjoy about it.
Hey. In this episode, though, I will say there were a couple of jokes, and I laughed.
So we are basing the Netflix show, comparing it to the original, which is the cartoon, which is a beloved. We just love it so much. We love the original cartoon so much, but that is not why we're not liking this show. We are giving it the fair adaptation.
Yeah, no, I want to like this show.
Exactly. Like I wanted to like the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
See, this is where I'm torn, right? Is the M. Night Shyamalan movie is objectively bad.
Yes.
But at the same time,
it follows the story better than the Netflix series has been doing.
One, that, but like ignoring that part, right? Like, screw all of that. He seems to understand the essence of the characters better than the Netflix series.
Yeah, but the actors were bad, so...
Look. I'm not... Again, objectively a bad film. Dev Patel was the best part of that film.
Oh, he was a good Zuko, yeah.
I don't even remember who played Uncle Iroh. I just remember that Dev Patel...
He went from getting his Oscar to literally... I think he got an Oscar for Slumdog Millionaire to being in this movie.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Okay, cool. We can stop talking about that bad show. We have a Patreon episode that we're going to do at the end. For people who subscribe to our Patreon, you get to watch us talk about the M. Night Shyamalan movie in our Patreon.
Yeah, Steven's making me watch that too, ladies and gentlemen. Just know that, like...
I mean,
it didn't take a lot of convincing. That's cool. Really all this, like... He keeps coming up with these ideas of things that we should do, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds great. I secretly believe that Steven actually knows everything beforehand. He has already watched all of this and is like, what can we do to torture him more? So, like, that's my secret working theory. I'm still working on figuring out exactly how it falls into play, but I feel like there's an ounce of truth.
We like the Hunger Games, though. For the most part.
The first two?
Yeah.
And then you made me watch 3 more films.
And the last one, Songbird and Snakes was all right.
The book was good.
The book was good. The book was great. The Shining was cool.
The film was good. The Shining was a loose adaptation, my friend. It didn't count.
All right, that's fine. Let's hop back into this, though. What is the idea? We're going to go to Ankit's fun fact time about episode 4, titled Into the Dark.
Woo! The director of Into the Dark, Jabbar Rashani. The writer. It was written by Keely MacDonald, developed by Albert Kim. The story editor is Keely MacDonald, and the staff writer is Audrey Wong Kennedy. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Steven, what do you think the IMDb rating for this episode was?
Well, last week got a 7, so I'm going to say this week was a 6.8. Definitely less than last week.
One would think, wouldn't they?
No. They gave it a 7.5?
Yes. No, they gave it a 7. It was the same as last
Oh,
week.
it's the same. Oh, okay. So they're still average. What you get on IMDb?
Yeah.
A 7. What you get this week? A 7. I am an
7.
average student. I got C's. C's get degrees, everyone.
Hi. D's get you demoted. I don't know.
C's get degrees. D's get you death. And F's get you F off of our university.
Oh, I feel like F's are better than D's in this scenario.
You gotta defend your thesis, man. If you got a D, you gotta have a sword so you can defend your thesis. And if you die, you die. You get the D.
You know what? That's fair. With an F, it's just like, you know what? He never stood a chance. Just leave.
Just leave. We don't even want to kill you at this point. Okay, cool.
Like,
so
we
that's
just
for
feel bad.
now. They gave it a 7. Okay, cool. So it's just very average. I don't necessarily agree with it, but we'll see if we agree with it by the end of the episode. So, Ankit,
Spoiler alert, no.
who is your favorite? My question time, Stephen Fun question time. Who is your favorite Earthbender?
Am I allowed to say the obvious answer?
Yeah,
Toph.
Toph. Yeah, I agree. I just thought it'd be really fun to be like, who's your favorite Earthbender of all time? Because we're talking about Earthbending a lot today. So
Cool. All right. Follow up to that. Who's your favorite Earthbender that's not Toph or Bumi?
oh, that's rude. That's so rude. Oh, but you know who it has to be? The
Who?
Boulder loves to go in and handle things.
Yeah, the boulder's a good one.
Who is this small, insignificant child?
The boulder
sounds like
is
you're
conflicted
scared,
about
Boulder.
fighting a little girl.
It sounds like you're scared, Boulder. I am no longer conflicted about fighting a little girl. I
He
hope.
never says I. It is the boulder is
Oh,
no
yeah,
longer
fair.
conflicted.
I really hope the Boulder is played by The Rock in the live action.
Sounds
that
to
would
me like
just-
you're scared. The pebble.
That would literally, if he was played by The Rock, that would literally just make my world. It would make me
Yeah.
so happy if The Rock played the Boulder.
He is the right choice.
Hey, Netflix, get The Rock to play the Boulder, please.
Netflix, be better at writing your characters, please.
Yeah, that too. Okay, let's hop back into the adaptation, shall we? So,
Why not?
oh wait, what was your favorite Earthbender other than Bumi and Toph?
Oh, right. Well, I mean, you took the boulder, so I won't, the boulder is great. But I was thinking if it's just Avatar: The Last Airbender, then after the boulder, I'd probably give it to Haru.
Yeah, I love Haru. He's a great character.
I like Haru. Haru's fun. He's a nice character. You get to learn a bit more about him in season 3 as well.
Yeah,
but,
obviously Bolin would
if
be your
we're-
choice if Legend of Korra was involved.
Bolin, if Legend of Korra is allowed.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's hop back into the show. So the episode opens up with Aang in jail with Iroh, which I'm like, that's cool and new. I'm okay with this because the more I like Aang and Iroh, so I'm okay with these scenes actually. So Aang also says something very rude about Zuko, how Zuko's like evil, and Iroh's like, well, no, he saved me, and that's why I love him. And it's kind of like, oh, I want to know what he did. So
Yeah.
then we cut to a scene where Sokka's calling out Sai, and he's like, "You're working with the Firebenders," and he admits it. But he's giving them secrets, not weapons. I don't really get it. He's giving them designs.
Mitigates what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So they find out Aang's in prison, and also then we cut to they also in that scene find Katara shows up, says Aang's in prison. We have to go save him. And then we cut to Zuko, and Zuko like punches a Firebender soldier and steals his uniform, and then is gonna go into the jail to save Iroh. I was like, I'm down.
Zuko.
But my big question was, where's the Blue Spirit? Like, this is the perfect time to introduce the Blue Spirit. If you're not gonna do it at all in the show, which I don't think they will, this would have been the time.
This would have been the moment.
So then we get the backstory of Bumi and Aang, and it's changed. Bumi's like talking about how he is really bad at molding. And
Yeah,
Bumi,
he's trying to
but
mold a sky bison.
yeah, but Bumi's like also like, oh, I like writing the male slot. That's in the cartoon. Like that's their backstory. Like Bumi just loves being a mad genius. Like they're just friends. Like I
Yeah,
don't
no,
understand.
Bumi's entire introduction in the cartoon is just like, Aang showing Sokka and Katara the male thing, and then we get
Yeah.
a flashback scene, and Bumi's just like, "What do you see? The male system? That's what they want you to see. But open your eyes to the possibilities.
Yeah.
It's a massive slide. Bumi, you're a
You're
mad
a mad
genius."
genius. And he laughs and snorts. So we cut to Iroh and Aang talking about the morality of war. And I'm like, this is a really interesting conversation. Obviously, Iroh and Aang have never had this conversation in the whole cartoon, but I like it. Iroh says he owes Zuko. As they play, I don't know if you noticed, underscoring the scene was Leaves of the Vine.
Leaves of the Vine, yeah.
Which made me go, don't tug at my heartstrings like that. Don't you do it, show. You can play that, but you gotta earn it.
Yeah, you haven't earned it, show. You haven't earned it yet.
They also say the prisons are well built and dark. Sai says it's impossible to... So we cut back to Sai and all of them, and Sai says it's impossible to get in, but there are secret tunnels to get in. And in my head, I'm just like, secret tunnel, which is in season 2.
What? Yeah.
And also, the secret tunnels do not go into the prisons of the earth, of Amashu's prison.
No.
Just so everyone's aware, the secret tunnels, which was in season 2, so I don't know what they're going to do for season 2 because they've cut like bits from this season 2 and put it in this one. The secret tunnel is the way to get to Omashu, not a way to get into the prisons of Omashu.
Yeah.
But all right.
I don't know.
They say they will take it to try to get in through there. So cool. But my heart was like, oh, it's another secret tunnel. It's not the secret tunnel from the episode 2, so it's fine. It's not the love tunnel. Okay.
Hey, Steven.
I was wrong.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, buddy. It's the love tunnel.
So they say they're going to take Iroh to the pit, which is an Earth Kingdom labor camp. I don't remember this existing in the show at all. I knew the Fire Nation had camps. I didn't think the Earth Kingdom had camps.
I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me that they had camps.
Yeah, they had jails, but like what was it? The Boiling Rock and what was the other prison? The one that were on the metal where Haru was taken?
I don't know. Just the metal one?
Yeah, those
I
are
know what you're talking.
Prisons. I didn't understand the choice. Then we cut back to Sai.
I don't know why they didn't just say, we're going to take him to Ba Sing Se, like the original.
Yeah, literally. Then they cut back to Sai, and Sai says that it's being convicted by Sokka and Teo to turn them in. So he's being convinced by Sokka and Teo to turn in all the Fire Nation spies, and he's like, I don't know if I should turn in the Fire Nation spies. They're like, do something good once in your life, turn them in. He says, I don't want war to come to Omashu. It was like, war's already there. Which I don't get.
I don't know.
Aang then meets King Bumi. Now, Bumi orders tea and says and he also says, look, it's the Avatar. And he says, everyone's like, oh my gosh. And he says he's good at rock skipping. I like this introduction. I was like, yeah, here's Bumi. There's Bumi. I was so excited. And then they ruined it 5 seconds later.
They do. And here's my issue with this, right? And it's nothing against Utkarsh, who plays King Bumi. He's a great actor. He's funny. Yeah. He's fantastic. I don't understand why they cast him to play the part. Because as I was just looking at Bumi, I was like, it just looks like they have tried to age you up.
Oh, is he really young? The actual actor?
He's not that old. He's in his 30s, I think.
Why would you cast a 30-year-old to play a...
Maybe 40s. Let me check. I don't actually know.
But like Bumi's 100 and what? 12?
Yeah.
110?
Yeah. So he's an American actor and rapper. He is 40.
Bumi's 110. They cast a 40-year-old to play a 110-year-old?
And yeah, sure, it's like, hey, he needs to be ripped and whatnot. You're already spending so much on CGI, you can make a 70-year-old super ripped. Also, there are actors who are 70 that are really ripped. Like,
so yeah,
just nothing against him as an actor. I just felt like, that there are possibly better people for that part.
Fair. 2 seconds later, Aang finds out King Bumi is Bumi. 20 minutes before he's supposed to. The whole mystery of the episode where Bumi was introduced is Aang doesn't know who he is. And
Bumi
now
knows
Aang
who
just
Aang
knows,
is.
Yeah, but Aang doesn't remember Bumi being that old, which is why he doesn't remember Bumi. Bumi then gets served his tea. He hates it and he throws it away. And then Bumi says, throw him a feast, that's true from the show. I was like, all right, you're kind of doing old and new a bit with Bumi. All right. So then Katara gets a water gourd so she can always carry water. This is true. I believe she gets her water gourd after she trains as a waterbender in the North Pole. I don't think she's a water gourd before then. Or is that... I thought she got it in season 3, maybe as well.
Are you talking about like the little pouch?
Yeah. Because she never wants to be caught without water. There's a moment in the show where she's caught without water, and from then on she carries a water gourd. Well, there's no reason for her in the show to have it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't... like in the show, it makes sense because she's caught without water, and then she finds a way to like have it always on her. But they forgot to actually make it make sense while she has it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I am blanking on what the moment is in the cartoon.
Same, but there's a reason for her to have it.
I want to say that there is a reason. I think she gets it in season 1.
Towards the end, though, right?
Towards the end. Again, there is like a situation, and then it's never like explicitly said that she goes and buys one. Like, it's just like, next episode she has one now. Like, it's just a matter of fact, like, okay, cool, like we have understood why she wants this, right? Like, fine. But I'm blanking on when she gets it in the cartoon.
Yeah, fair. Well, then Jet shows up and Jet challenges Katara, and Katara is like, not everyone's a traitor, and they fight, and then she freezes Jet to a wall, and I'm like, goodbye, Jet. This does happen, by the way, in the show, just in the Jet episode, where like now this doesn't make any sense here, and all right. Jet is a running character, by the way, in the show. He comes back in season 2. If he comes back in season 2, we'll see what happens in the Ba Sing Se arc. So he also Jet tries to claim the power he gave. He said, "I gave you your power, Katara," and Katara's like, "No, I earned it myself." And I'm kind of like, Katara hasn't earned any power yet in the show. She kind of just has it.
That was my reaction to that line too.
Like, let her earn it, guys. Come on, let her earn her power. Jesus, it's not wrong for a person to earn their power in a show. It gives them somewhere to go.
She's the strong female character. She has to be strong from the beginning. She can't show weakness.
So we cut to Zuko searching for Iroh, and he's actually strapped by another earthbending guy, and the guy's like, well, the Avatar's over there, and the older guy went that way, so choose between the two. And I'm like, could you showrunners be even more obvious than you already are? Like, there was nuance to those choices when Zuko had to choose between the Avatar and Iroh. Like, what? You really had to spell it out for us? Are we that young? Really? You expect half the audience who's watching the show watch the cartoon. We know Zuko makes this choice. Thank you for playing.
Okay. Here's the thing. If I remember correctly, the show the cartoon, the rating is young 7, meaning you should be about 7 to watch the show.
Yeah.
Like, 5 to 7, then it's like, hey, like, that's just because, like, we talk about some serious things like war and genocide and, bad things that might be rough for, like, a 5-year-old to learn about. But if they created the cartoon and we're like, we don't need to spell it out for a 7-year-old, they're intellectual enough to get it. What changed in the last 20 years to where we are no longer intellectually sound enough to get it?
I think the writers are just lazy and they don't know how to do nuance now.
Like, yeah.
So
it's a common trend too.
Also, this choice for Zuko is a season 2 choice, by the way. Like, this is a really important moment for Zuko when he chooses between Iroh and the Avatar.
No, he does. He does make this choice in season 1 as well, when Iroh gets kidnapped.
Iroh gets kidnapped in season 2.
No, he gets kidnapped in season 1, buddy.
I swear it was
by the
2.
Earthbenders when he's hanging out in the hot tub.
I thought that was season 2. I swear that was season 2.
No, because he still has his crew because he tells Iroh to get back to the ship within 30 minutes, or he's leaving without him.
That's right. Yeah, but yeah, okay, but still, it just feels very like all over the place still.
Yeah.
So Zuko obviously chooses going after Iroh. Bumi then takes Aang and he jokes about everything and is testing Aang. Now, Bumi does test Aang in the show, but I'm kind of going to skip ahead a bit and just kind of explain what Bumi's test in the show. I'm just going to explain them now, and then we'll continue what happens in the Netflix version.
Sounds
Bumi's
good. That seems like the easiest way to do it.
Bumi's tests are all about Aang figuring out, looking things at a different angle. He just wants Aang to look at things in many different angles and see different ways to fight, different ways to strategize, different ways to be better as an avatar. This Bumi does no such thing. So
This Bumi's a bitter old man.
Exactly. He challenges Bumi and sees if he cares, and then Bumi's like, "Are you dare to ask if I care?" And it's this whole thing about like, this doesn't make any sense for Bumi's character. Bumi never gets mad at Aang for saying anything like that. And Bumi seems to have lost his hope, which is never true. Because there's no war in Omashu. Omashu is one of the last Earth Kingdom strongholds that doesn't have any war. But they brought war to it anyway, which causes issues with the storytelling, and it doesn't make any sense.
Welcome to confusion. This is where my head is most of the time.
Yeah. So then we cut to Katara and Sokka, and they walk around the corner, and they run into some hippies who are singing, and I'm like, it's the secret tunnel nomads. And they're supposed to be in season 2. That's when I learned it's the secret tunnel. Why are they doing things this early? Because they wanted to.
I didn't have hope that it wasn't going to be the secret tunnel.
No, I know, but they wanted people to like, it's like, oh look, we put the secret tunnel song in it. You love the secret tunnel song. Of course you'll love our show. It's like, stop pandering to us. Like, do the show, but stop pandering.
We have to earn secret tunnel. Just
exactly.
Like we have to earn, fighting techniques.
They point out the tunnel, which is scary, and he explains the whole story of Omashu. They messed up the story a bit, though, and said Oma, when she died, Shu then fought the war, and then they also call Shu a woman. Just so for everyone understands, Oma was a man and Shu was a woman, and they both loved each other. Oma does die, but he's a man, and Shu is a woman who kills everyone. Like I was like, why you said the genders correctly, and then you messed up the genders halfway through storytelling. It was an error on the scriptwriter there.
Did they proofread?
Unless they made them lesbians. I don't know.
Did they proofread?
I don't know. Then the secret tunnel, which I'm like, hey, I love the song, but also too early.
They're in the wrong place.
Also, now Sokka and Katara are going into the secret tunnel. Now, for context, everyone, this secret tunnel is all about love. And like,
ooh.
and like loving each other. Why are you going to send a brother and sister in there together to a tunnel of love when it was supposed to be about Aang and Katara's relationship, which they haven't really addressed? Like,
no, Aang attracted to Katara at all in this universe.
And it's like, why? Because Aang is 12. Like, 12-year-olds have crushes. Like, you're allowed to have a crush.
No. 12-year-olds aren't allowed to have crushes. 12-year-olds have to be strong warriors who only think about war and saving the world.
So then we cut to Iroh, and Iroh's very polite to his captors, and he gets hit by the guards, and he's leading Zuko to him. He keeps dropping stuff to lead Zuko to him.
Which does happen in the cartoon.
Yeah. And then Aang is walking with Bumi and gets caught by a Geminite cavern and breaks some. First of all, you can't break Geminite unless you're an earthbender.
Yeah.
And then Bumi's like, oh, maybe I just wanted some rock candy or to play a game or to give you some hardship. And I'm like, but can you have him look for your pet, Flippy or
it's Flopsy. I wanted Flopsy.
No, I corrected myself. Can you help him look for Flopsy or, maybe have the key in the waterfall or, fight the guy? Like, there's 3 tests that he's supposed to do.
He technically does 1.
And then we cut to Zuko. And Zuko is finding his path to Iroh. And that's where we'll take our snack break, everyone.
Woo!
Back to it.
Okay.
So we're back in the episode.
Hello.
Back to Sokka and Katara
in the love tunnel.
In the love tunnel, because a brother and sister should be in the love tunnel. Writers, please rewatch the show and tell me why you put a brother and sister in a tunnel of love.
It's to talk about the brotherly and sister love and how all love is slightly different, but all love is valid.
So they're halfway through the tunnel where they put out their lights to follow the gems. Now, this does happen to Katara and Aang in the Tunnel of Love in season 2.
By accident.
On accident. Not on purpose. They don't just discover. And it's Geminite, by the way. It's Geminite is what they follow. So
yeah.
Katara then is being really dense, and they have a stupid argument about who's in charge. And she's like, the argument. But the argument is so stupid. I'm like, in the show, they always trust Sokka's instincts. Like, I don't understand where there's arguments come from because Sokka wants to go one way and Katara wants to go the other.
See,
I'm like,
that's the thing is they always trust Sokka's instincts until his instincts are wrong, and then they just make fun of Sokka's instincts.
Exactly.
But then
why don't you ask Sokka's instincts?
But then they continue to just trust Sokka's instincts. But like, it's not like they're above, making fun of him. It's like, hey, is your backpack getting really heavy? You know who you should ask to carry it? Sokka's instincts.
Sokka's instincts. So I just don't get the argument. It feels really dumb and forced, and it just feels like, yes, Katara and Sokka argue. Yes, they're siblings. Yes, that does happen in the show.
But most of
not to this extent.
Also, most of their arguments are about stupid, trivial stuff in the show.
This is a trivial argument. This is like, let's go this way or that way.
Right. But in the sense that it starts out as that, right, or something. But they also look out for each other. And
because they're the only 2 left together in the world.
In 3.5 episodes, other than them arguing, I don't see them actually looking out for each other like siblings.
Yeah. Then we cut back to Iroh, and he's being bullied again by the guy who's taking him to the pit. and he's talking about the siege of Ba Sing Se. Now, I thought this was interesting. I really like this idea of like Iroh being faced with like what happened in Ba Sing Se and the terrible loss of life at the siege. Iroh says, "I was a soldier," and he says, "No, you were a butcher." Did Iroh kill anybody in the siege of Ba Sing Se?
I mean, dude, he was the general. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he was on the front lines, but he probably.
I know a war happened. There's not really like in the show, the cartoon. There's not really like an explanation of like how many people died. I know who died, but like
Yeah.
Guy goes to kill.
Like the other thing is, even if he didn't personally do it, he probably gave the order.
That's true. So the guy goes to kill Iroh, and he says, "You have no humanity." And they stop him, and he says, "You know nothing of loss." And I'm like, for all of us who watched the show and that know Iroh's backstory, that ain't true.
Yeah. This was the one part of the episode where I was like, they did it
this
fairly
part of the
well.
episode was really good.
It
So we
was
cut
really
to
well
a
done.
backstory of Iroh post the siege of Ba Sing Se, where he's given up. So Iroh gave up the siege of Ba Sing Se, so he's no longer the prince of the Fire Nation as well. That was part of what happened then. And he lost his only son. By the way, at the same time, this isn't said, Azulon also dies.
Yeah.
Literally the day after.
Like the next day.
Fire Lord Azulon dies, and Fire Lord Ozai becomes the Fire Lord.
I think
in literally 2 days.
It's the next day or maximum within like 72 hours.
Oh, yeah, literally so close together. Because they get the letter that Wu-Tang is dead.
Yeah. So, okay. We can say maybe a week, right? Because we don't know how long it would take for the letter to get there and like everything to happen. But like, he's lost his dad and his son.
We give a scene where everyone's trying to be comforting to Iroh for losing his only son, his heir.
And it's never specified in anything what happened to Iroh's wife.
No, but Ozai is there first, and he's kind of very diplomatic around it. But he does call him brother, which is kind of... I've never seen a scene where Ozai and Iroh together ever in the cartoons. So it was kind of nice to see them actually kind of do a brotherly thing. But still, it was very weird. It was like very put on, you can tell. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was good. And then Zuko comes up, and he tries to be very like diplomatic, like very like kind of like his dad did. But then he fails, and he goes back. He gives him a token that he said his cousin gave him. And he sits down next to him while Iroh is being comforted. And he comforts Iroh like no one could ever do. And I don't know if you saw, there was like smoke coming out of Iroh when Zuko sat down.
I saw tears running down his face. I didn't see smoke.
No, there were tears, but I also saw smoke in the back of his head, as if it was like a releasing of something.
Oh,
like Iroh was helping him. Yeah, release something. I thought it was interesting. It was like steam coming off of him.
Interesting.
Old and new. I was very happy with this.
Yeah, I didn't catch that detail.
So we go back to the show, and Katara says they were pushed to be bad. And Katara apologizes to Sokka really by saying he had it harder than his father. But Katara doesn't really apologize. I kind of want to point that out. Katara would apologize in the show. She actually would say sorry. But like in the Netflix show, she doesn't apologize. She doesn't say sorry at all. And I'm like, can you give people the ability to actually say sorry? Like,
no.
If they messed up. Like,
no.
I don't get it. So
you're not allowed to apologize nowadays.
Yeah, they they follow the gemstones, and they run into a dead end, and they're like, and then she's like, "See, I was right." And then they run into another dead end, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then they meet the badger moles, and
they're kind of cute.
That's when Katara says, "The badger moles are the light in the dark. You see?"
No.
And that's when I'm like, "No, the gems are." If you watch the actual show, the gems are. Thank you, writers. The badger moles helped create the bending. They are the original earthbenders. It just
it makes no sense at all.
Then we cut back to Bumi, and Bumi's like, "I have one more test for you," where he's literally done really no test for Aang, but he's like, "I have one more test, and it's one final game." And he's like, "You're gonna fight me, a death match." Aang doesn't choose his opponent. So in the show,
Aang
chooses his opponent because it was either him or two other guys who look like really scary.
Yeah, and so he picked the
When he
old
chooses
frail
Bumi,
man.
Bumi's like, wrong answer! And he goes to work.
He's just like, I'm the most powerful earthbender in the entire world. Scratch that, Bumi.
Yeah.
You were the second most powerful earthbender. We just haven't met the first one yet.
That's true. My other issue with introducing the Badgermoles here, we cut back to the Badgermoles for a second, is it sets up Toph because they're all blind. And that's why season 2 is so interesting because everything is leading to meeting Toph. The blind Badgermoles, the swamp episode.
Yeah.
There's so many episodes that lead to the meeting of Toph. And because she's so set up well. She's set up so well.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm like, you're now undercutting the introduction of that character when we get to season 2. So Zuko then to the rescue. And they fight his captures and win his freedom.
Woo!
Yay! Iroh then almost kills the guy who's been bullying him, and he's like, do it. And Iroh says no. And they go to leave, and then the guy sends some rocks at Iroh, and Iroh gets stabbed. And Zuko fires at him. And he's like, that's why you shouldn't have mercy. Zuko says that to Iroh. Then they're chasing the Badger Mole down, and they apologize to each other.
Did they actually say sorry this time?
No, they're just holding hands.
You know.
And the Badger Mole responds to please. They're like, will you take us to the castle, please? And the Badger Mole's like, yeah, because you said please, because you were polite, I'll take you to the castle.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to Aang and Bumi, and they start their fight. It's really similar. They do a lot of the cuts from the same fight from the cartoon.
They do.
Except the cartoon looked a lot more epic.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt very de-epified. I didn't really care. Because when Aang was fighting in the show, by the way, Bumi, Katara and Sokka were in danger of dying to the Genomite, by the way, in the show. So there was a lot of more stakes to the fight against Bumi.
Yeah. There are no stakes.
There are no stakes for Aang.
Like a fight to the death. It's like, also,
because Bumi said so.
Neither of them would want to fight and kill their friend. Like,
then
Bumi's not an old bitter man.
Falls. Then Bumi has 2 rocks fall from the ceiling, and he's like holding them up. Well, he's not holding them. Aang's holding both of them up, and he's like, "You have to choose war. Like one of us has to die." And it's like, Bumi, what the heck is this?
Bumi, who hurt you? Who changed your character? Who did this to you, Bumi? Are you okay?
Then Katara and Sokka to the rescue. So Katara shoots some ice, and Sokka slides and saves Bumi, and Aang's able to put his rock down. And then Bumi says, "You think like a child." And he's like, "Well, I am a child."
I giggled at that one.
But still, it just doesn't...
But it doesn't justify changing Bumi. Like, why?
The thing about Aang is his childlikeness of being a 100-year-old man trapped in a 12-year-old body is the fact that that's what's going to save the world, is his purity, is his simplicity, if you will. And Bumi understood that.
Yeah, like in the cartoon, Bumi's not bitter to Aang. Bumi's literally like, Aang, it's so good to see you. Like,
yeah.
You know, he's happy that his friend is back.
And he also tells him how he can save the world. He helps him out. He's like every episode leading up to like the winter solstice, which is the midpoint of the season, is Aang is getting more confidence with the people as it goes through. And Bumi is a big part of that.
Yeah, because Bumi also says in that episode in the cartoon where he's like, you know, you're going to have to rely on your friends, including Momo. Like, he's going to play a bigger part than you're going to think. But
except in the TV show, he's like, you shouldn't rely on your friends. You should rely on just yourself and be individual. It's like, that's not the point of the show. That's never been, like, I understand maybe it's a kid thing to think like you should rely on people and rely on your friends, but that moral thing still hands true today. I rely on Ankit. He's a really good friend.
I
Like-
rely on you. Like, it goes both ways. It's like something goes
are you
wrong,
kidding me?
and
We
it's
can't have
like-
friendship?
Yeah, it's like, oh, like something happened in life, and it's just like, okay, does it affect my friend? No. Am I gonna call and complain to my friend and just talk to them because I know that like they'll just tell me like something to help me just get through the situation? Yes. Like, I don't get the
And then-
message that they're trying to send with this show anymore.
I don't know. Then he shows the whistle that Bumi made, the whistle that calls Appa, of course, and who hasn't been in this entire episode. Neither has Momo.
In the last
and they're so
two,
important.
In the last two.
By the way, the show has treated Appa like he's just transportation for the gang to get to the next place.
Yeah.
Appa is the transportation, but Appa is an integral part of the gang. Why are they just? It just so frustrates me. It frustrates me. It frustrates me.
What frustrates me more is fine, right? Appa isn't in Omashu. Okay.
Yeah.
Appa might not be in it. Why isn't Momo in these 2 episodes? Like, Momo's not around.
I don't know.
Momo is small enough to sneak into Omashu. Where's the lemur?
Literally. So Bumi then says the Fire Nation they're under attack, and the Fire Nation is going to attack us, and the spies are all arrested. Omashu rejoins the war. I was like, you were at war anyway, according to the last episode. Why are you changing it now?
You ain't rejoining.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
That's going on a T-shirt or a mug someday if we ever get to the merch. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
So Bumi and Aang then ride the mail together, and I'm like, and they slide into cabbages, and I'm like, hey, that's the end of the episode. That's the part we actually probably care about and love.
Yes.
But you gave us a bunch of wrong with a bunch of right.
So they gave us a
cut to
bunch of
Zuko.
wrong with a sprinkle of right.
So we cut to Iroh and Zuko, and they're on a boat trying to escape. And he's like, Iroh, we gotta go get you medical treatment, because he's worried about Iroh, about the stab wound in his back. And then we cut to Zuko the moment after he was banished. And it's a really meaningful moment. Iroh's saying he's going to go with him because he has all he needs on that boat.
All tea
he
I
says
could
his
ask
things,
for.
Of course. All the tea. Except he's actually talking about Zuko, and it's quite the real father of Zuko is there in Iroh.
And I love that they kept that little bit in, because in episode 3, he says, because Zhao, after the Agni Kai in episode 3 of the cartoon, it's just he tries to attack Zuko with his back turned. And Iroh says something along the lines of, even in exile, my nephew is more honorable than you. Thank you for the jasmine tea. It was my favorite. It was delicious. Or something.
So good.
And then as they're walking away, Zuko's like, Uncle, did you really mean that? Of course. Jasmine tea is my favorite. It's just
it's just really good stuff.
It's beautiful.
So it ends with
and again, Iroh scenes.
They understood Iroh.
I have no complaints about Iroh scenes.
So it ends with the bison flying away and Zuko ignoring it. And that is the end of episode 4, Into the Dark.
Cool. What do you rate it as an episode, Stephen?
Where they combined another 3 episodes together.
Wait, which were the 3 this time? So it was, again, we are combining the King of Omashu.
The Tunnel of Love.
Oh, short. That's in season 2.
And the one where Iroh gets kidnapped.
Is that...
Which is not Omashu.
No, that's the Spirit World.
That's right. The Spirit World.
The Spirit World. Yeah. So...
Is that the Habai episode? That's Winter Solstice Part 1, then.
Heibai, yeah. Winter Solstice Part 1.
Yeah, Heibai. Cool. So yeah, they combined 3 episodes and All right, what would you rate it as an episode, 1 through 10, not an adaptation?
I asked you first.
Oh, 6.5 again.
Okay. Not an adaptation.
I like some of it. I like some of the action. I like the scenes about Iroh. that kind of raised it for me.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other stuff kind of brought
I'm
it
happy
down.
with the 6.5. 6.5 is like, it's okay.
What would you rate it as an adaptation?
Like a 2.
I'd give it a 3 again. Yeah.
I mean, you were at a 4 last time, so we both went
It just
down.
feels like they're just trying to like do too much in one episode. It's like you have an hour. You have 8 episodes. You have technically more time to do all those episodes than the cartoon had.
Yeah.
I understand you don't want to just rehash the cartoon. I get it. I don't like, no one wanted that. No one wanted just to rehash the cartoon. What we want is you to honor the characters and to tell the story correctly.
So, like, that's the major issue that I have with this, right? Is, people listening might be like, oh, he's biased, because I do really like the original. That's not the case. Like, I want this show to succeed. The reason I'm so harsh on it is that, I feel like an adaptation, you need to understand the character that you're adapting. And I don't feel like, other than Iroh, they have understood any character that they are adapting. And this episode was the biggest example of that with Bumi.
One thing I will say, which I think is very prevalent right now, is there was a couple of things with the M. Night Shyamalan film that everyone complains about. A, the pacing. It wasn't enough time to cover all 20 episodes.
Right.
Fair. Whitewashing characters. And a few other things that, like, the actors were bad.
The bending looked terrible.
So they fixed... the bending looked terrible. So they fixed all 4 of that, I would say. So it's not whitewashed anymore. There's a really lovely array of people in it. They have great actors playing these roles. The actors are really doing a really good job. By the way, this is a mid-season, so I think we're allowed to talk about it. Like now. They're great job. The CGI looks great, and what was the 4th thing that was complained about?
Pacing.
Oh, and they have 8 episodes, so they technically have enough time to tell the story. But it's the same problem that we talked about in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2, where they had so much time they wanted to add stuff and failed to follow through on the adaptation.
Yeah, and it's just like, by all means, add stuff. Make it interesting, right? Like, you're allowed to delve a little more into certain things. It might not be a 1-to-1 adaptation. And like, hey, there's going to be some new things that you haven't seen before. Like, great.
It shouldn't be a 1-to-1 adaptation. I'm not saying it should be. I'm just saying it should follow the story and keep true to the characters. And I think that that's the main hiccup of the show for me right now. And that's the problem that I'm having with the show.
Yeah.
And for me, the other problem I have with the show, and I think this is true as of 4 episodes, is there's the question of who is this show made for, Netflix? Is this show made for hardcore Avatar: The Last Airbender fans who are going to not like the show because you're not following it anyway? Or is it made to bring a new audience in? If it's made to bring a new audience in, the episodes aren't that good. They're not doing it. Because if anybody asks me what to go watch in the Avatar franchise, I'm just going to go say, go watch the original cartoon. I can watch it now at 28 and I still enjoy it. And it was made for 7-year-olds.
Like, I'm currently showing it to my aunt. She's hooked on it. Like, she loves it.
It's good.
And it's just like, yeah, okay.
Naresh liked it.
Yeah. I rolled flatmate.
So, that is the end of our episode. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What's your rating? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Tell us in the comment section below. We really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for episode 5, Spirited Away. Not to be confused with the movie,
which
Spirited
I played
Away.
the music for, but never seen.
Oh, it's such a good Ghibli film. Oh, please do that for.
I'll work on it.
Please. Or do Howl's Moving Castle. One of the two. Those are my favorite Ghibli films.
Fair. We'll take a look. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Also, there's a new anime movie called Susune that just came out. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. It's on
Okay.
Netflix.
Wonderful. But yes.
You should go watch it. All right,
Bye.
bye y'all.
Hello, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Flip the Scripts. Flip the Scripts is created, hosted, and produced by Ankit Madhira and Stephen Nieman. Our editor is Sebastien Hollich. The art is by Kshitija Madhira, and the music is by Sebastien Hollich. If you like the video, you can click to listen to the next part, or if it's not out yet, you can find one of our previous episodes.
Or if you want to check out some of our other content, here's a fun video from another one of our shows.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, comment, and hit that bell icon to get notified of all of our content when it releases.
Subscribe to our Patreon if you want bonus content.
Links to all of our social media and Patreon are in the episode description down below.
Thank you for supporting our content. Come back next week for more shenanigans from Co-op Forge.
New episodes for Flip the Scripts release every Friday, Seattle Across the Pond every other Thursday, and post finale every Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye now.